What the fuck? Damn.
Sabimaru is now
That's
a
tough.
black.
Damn. Okay, that's a hell of a start. But what's good, y'all? What's up? We live on Twitch right now as well. But we got a part 2 to more common writers that are D1 crash outs. If y'all remember, let me redirect y'all. We did a part 1, and that was our most popular video. So I wanted to do more actually because I really do fuck with Kamen Rider, and this guy Limbo, hilarious. So yeah, we're gonna react to it today, and yeah. If you watch streams on Twitch, tune in. Marmar22, check us out. All right, let's go. Damn, damn, damn. Damn. We'll be right back again, folks.
In today's video, we double back to the Berserker board and present 3 more writers who have gained a form that makes them lose themselves and crash out on the world around them. Just like last time, both terms will be used loosely and liberally during the 3 exhibits presented today, because fuck you, we have fun here. By the way, like and subscribe, and let's get started. Let's start off with arguably one of the OG crash outs and a fun 2-parter. See what I did there? Shotaro and Philip pick up a case from a lady that says the common writer of the city is Robin Banks, which obviously is a problem since the 2 of them are the actual common
Right, W.
So they manage to find the imposter, aka
I watched
Arms
W.
Dopant, and they have a fun bike chase that leads to the reveal that the lady is
I ain't gonna lie, W's pretty good. That's a pretty good Kamen Rider show.
actually part of a duo thief team. Apparently, the Arms Dopant is her partner, Abba Red, and this transformation has changed him into something completely different. Together, they were just non-violent cat burglars. But now, Abba Red is just up in the blick and airing out Banks while pretending to be Buto's masked rider. Eventually, they track down Abba Red's location and attempt to talk no jutsu him out of thieving and drugging in this way. Unfortunately, Abba Red is hooked on that guy memory power, like hooked. And it ultimately leads to Shotaro and Philip putting that shit on to fight a strung out Abba Red. The 3 go back and forth swapping hands, but when the Arm Dopant escalates to using weapons, you know, cause arms and Arms Dopant means weaponry, Double reacts in kind. They match Abba Red bar for bar until they use their big ass wagon to blindside the drug out kaiju. Suddenly, Abba Red gets a phone call from a lady on the radio telling him to wrap this shit up. So he gets in the mindset to do so. And I don't know about you, but if somebody told me, let's do this for real, while they was swapping hands with me, I would have been kind of worried. Cause I'm like, what you mean you wasn't going for real? I was giving it my all. What the fuck you mean you was just holding back? Ah, shit. Personally, I thought Arms Dopant was gonna make a bazooka, but instead he snaps his finger and Double is surrounded by a bunch of henchmen. This Uno reverse turns out to be even worse, as the whole meetup was actually a trap for them, and they have Akiko at gunpoint. To save her, they need to de-transform, but the boys plan a counter instead. When that counter gets countered by the Arms Dopant, Shotaro is forced out of his transformation with gunk covering the right side of his driver. And this also puts Philip back in his body, who apparently was in the big ass bike wagon. As Abba Red gets all excited to look inside the wagon, Akiko
Hold on, I just heard a Discord sound, y'all. I'm about to say, I'm not in no Discord chat. That shit freaked me out.
puts it together that all of this payday activity he's been performing in the Kamen Rider's name was all to get their hands on Philip, who once again is in the wagon and for some reason got out to help them.
You're a dummy, bitch.
Yes, you're a dummy bitch.
Awaken to a world of wonder in Final Fantasy XIV Online.
For being a crackhead kaijin, this was a really smart ass play. I'm gonna give credit to Abba Red. Sayako could have made the plan, but
Hey, look, you know what they say about addicts. They'll find a way to get it. He found a way to get it. He found a way to get it.
Abba Red's gonna get the credit from me. Anyway, Philip beats Fee out of the warehouse and encounters his evil sister and one of the main driving forces of villainy in the city of Futo, who demands he returns to them and help the family business. By the way, he doesn't know that this is his sister because of his amnesia, so for him, this is the evil bitch in Begins, Naito, who killed Shotaro's boss and made them become double in the first place. It makes more sense if you watch the show/movie. Anyway, when he refuses due to stranger danger, she attempts to forcibly take him back, but he manages to duck, dip, and dodge all of her attempts, but not before running into the same little dinosaur he saw earlier, giving him his mild PTSD flashbacks. Since Philip ran away from them and out of the wagon, this leaves Shotaro and Akiko with Abba Red strung out ass, and a later ransom phone call proves it. Either Philip shows up to the abandoned warehouse, or his friends are gonna play a jigsaw game with him, and trust me, Abba Red means that shit. The only option that they really have left, since Excel doesn't show up for a few more episodes, is something called Fang, aka the 7th memory of Double. Now technically, we've seen it thrice before we even knew its name, but according to Shotaro, it's a walking Gaia memory that only Philip can use. The problem with that though is that Philip doesn't want that thing around, and when Shotaro explains to Akiko the tale of their first time using it, he explains that Philip feels like he loses himself while transforming and becomes something else in the process of using it. That's why when he was like sweating at the beginning of the episode, he saw it, he went, oh damn, not you again. And since Shotaro won't tell us what happened, I feel obligated to paint you a picture of what he's talking about.
Flashback.
This all takes place during the events of Begins Night, that big old backstory thing that Philip and Shotaro always hint at, but you never really get to see the entirety of in the show. Yeah, that happens in this movie. This is where Shotaro's mentor and Akiko's dad, Sokiichi Narumi, dies, and the duo become both versions of Double in that same night. At the time, Philip's all real cool about it and shit, and when they put that shit on, they go to town on a bunch of minions. But real talk, it's a really brief scuffle, but it gives us a taste of the berserking to come, and it's also when Sayako sees it for the first time, so shit she'll say later on will make more sense.
End of flashback.
Other stuff happens. Philip learns a lesson about doing reckless stuff for your boyfriend, and he heads to the warehouse with Fang in tow. Meanwhile, Abba Red is really on his jigsaw timing, as he's got Akiko quite literally hanging on for dear life. Based on the stuff we get nowadays, this was groundbreaking. This was real. This nigga is awful type of shit. He ain't stepping on grannies like Bitter Gav, but we had to do this shit to get to that point. Moving along, before she loses her grip and Shotaro falls to his death, Fang clutches to save and Philip pops out immediately. After dropping one of the best lines in the series, Philip, against all logic, uses the Fang memory once again and puts Theory.
What'd he say?
Philip pops out immediately. After dropping.
He said, I hope you're ready to ride. He said, I hope you're ready to ride with me through the depths of hell, Shotaro. Damn.
One of the best lines in the series, Philip, against all logic, uses the Fang memory once again and puts that shit on.
Puts that shit on. Joker. Bang. Joker.
Just like in the flashback, Akiko points out that Philip turned into Double this time, and this version fights nothing like the original.
This one's a savage. Fang. This just straight raw energy. It don't matter.
Pure savagery, as half of them are relentless, tearing through this crowd of jobbers with no dick.
Really not caring about anybody. Just attack. That's all it is. Attack.
It was at this moment that
he knew.
He fucked up.
The moment Abba Red saw Double use his arm blade as a shield to block their attacks, he knew he was about to get that work. And Double
get that belt.
putting that berserker belt to ass,
belt.
really sobering him up. Sayako, spectating this shit from the safety of her car, mentions how Fang makes Philip go
World Star.
all Oonga Boonga as a defense mechanism, and that power is strong enough to catch somebody like her off guard, just like it did in Begins Night. And after seeing this Dopant get the beats, we see Abba Red resort to using Akiko as a hostage again to gain an advantage.
It works. Even fucked up.
And I will assure you,
that's
that
worse.
Half of Double does not care.
It's not looking good, Bev.
Whoa.
It's not looking good.
Don't worry though, through the power of friendship and boy love, Shotaro is able to regain Philip's mind, and together they gain control of Fang Joker to save Akiko. Now in full control, a quick QTE cleans up all the minions and stuns Red long enough for the boys to drop 3 meters of memory-breaking pack-watch in that ass.
Yes, sir. Come on, nigga. Nigga hit him with a leaf hurricane.
Fang Joker is a fantastic cut and dry example of the classic Berserker form in Kamen Rider, and it's probably a lot of people's introduction to the concept in the franchise.
Yeah, that shit was fire.
Though other writers have preceded it in Berserking, I feel that this debut in particular sets a standard on how Berserker forms are held after this. Saiko's explanation of the Fang memory's influence perfectly encapsulates this, as it turns Philip and subsequently Double into a warrior who eliminates all opposition, doing whatever necessary it is to protect him. Her words, not mine. Which feels more impactful if you saw the Begins Naito movie, as she uses her experience from that night to come to this conclusion. My problem with this form is rather forced, as it requires me to get in my Captain Hindsight bag. When grading this form by itself and in the use of the story and execution, it's an 8 out of 10. The mastery of this form is unfortunately more important than the suit being an ongoing berserker, but it establishes the love and trust the Fudo detectives have for one another, and how they support and even pull each other out of their darkest moments. Because of both the plot of this two-parter and the events of the Begins Naito movie, it kind of feels like the writers of Double didn't really think Fang Joker was gonna be popular, like the berserking part. But seeing how many berserker forms have popped up after the series aired, it's clear to see how this form walked so that the others could rampage. Compared to the 4 crash out / berserkers we've discussed on this channel, this one kind of feels milquetoast to me. But again, it only feels this way because Fang Joker is not only older than all 4 of the writers that I've mentioned, but the others seem to be handled with a tad bit more of nuance and development.
Yeah.
It's like comparing a 60s Spider-Man comic to an early 2000s Spider-Man comic.
Yeah.
Yes, it is still the story of the Spooter, but the stories of the 60s may feel more simplistic compared to those of the early 2000 ones. However, the 60s comics lay the foundations for the 2000 stories to build on. I hope that made sense.
Yes.
Anyway, Fang Joker is an oldie but goodie. So now let's move on to a more recent berserker and what I like to call Kamen Rider Venom. I'm glad I chose to add this into a compilation rather than a solo video, because honestly, the more I watch Gachar, the more I'm reminded that I, Lambo Calrissian, hate teenage Kamen Riders with a burning passion. Don't get old, guys.
Excuse me.
Hotaro, being his annoying teenager self, is doubling both as an alchemist and a Kamen Rider, and much like Edward Elric, he's by far the youngest to ever do it. However, much like early Ash from Pokemon, he has to do it in the most annoying way. Did I mention he's annoying?
Oh my god.
Anyway, personal grudges aside, he and the gang have successfully been finding and befriending Kimmies and thwarting the Hades sisters' plans to use and abuse them again and again. Quick tangent, and for the sake of me not saying some names wrong, I'm gonna be referring to 2/3 of the sisters with a nickname. Clotho is the easiest because she's the middle child, while the oldest will be AP and the youngest will be Leche.
Your mama gonna brother holler at you? Holler at you.
Also, I know that they're also referred to as the Dark Sisters, but my sub said Hades, so I'm gonna keep calling them that. At a certain point, Sabimaru, the iPad kid, gets all excited about a certain UFO Kimmy popping up, and he makes it his mission to find it and befriend it. By the way, if you paid attention to the show, which I fucking didn't, then you'll remember that we saw UFO X when the gang went to Kyoto, but the sisters managed to get their hands on it and drain its power for a secret plan before it escapes.
You are not going to believe who I moved with yesterday.
Yeah, was it your super uptight dad?
Get out of my head! Yeah, okay, so my dad shows up and he's like, wah, 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 getting older.
Since Sabi's the most knowledgeable on the Kimmies, he was able to figure out it was in Kyoto, so the gang allow him to lead the charge in finding it. At the same time, they deal with both a tarantula amalgam and a man and woman inquisitor team.
So are they all
drops in
Kamen
to
Riders?
investigate an apparent spy in the organization, and apparently it's helping out the Hades sisters. After the events of a boomer-ass interrogation and an evil child dropping the hardest foreboding bar in the series, Hotaro and Sabi are confronted by the same tarantula amalgam from earlier, who not only recaptured Akemi to reform itself, but also is attempting to capture UFO X. Based on their choice of words during the fight, the amalgam attempts to drop a red herring, but after going 0-2 with the same character, it's revealed to be the Lady Inquisitor rather than the bitter-ass old man. She also reveals by using no-no magic, she's able to remonsterify, showing it off again to get the upper hand on the boys. When the rest of the gang show up, they not only Uno reverse her, but they get her to start monologuing on how she's been drinking that Hades sister Kool-Aid and is 10 toes down and helping revolutionizing the world, whatever the fuck that means. Hey, Hotaro and I have something in common. Anyway, she reverses their Uno reverse and it looks like she's got the gang on the ropes, just in time for the Hades sisters to pull up. She assumed she was finna get a cosign for the Good Minion Award, but they pack her up instead for overstepping, whatever the fuck that means. And when Hotaro questions their morals and ethics, AP responds by dressing down his naive notion of friendship and how it ain't even worth the $2 bill. Sounds like something my dad would say. And once she asked the question, what happens when you lose that, I knew these girls was cooking up something sinister. Suddenly, Clotho rushes Minato and Sabi while Leche clashes with Spanner, that lucky motherfucker. The moment Clotho put Sabi in that arm lock and pulled out a driver, apparently representing the pure manifestation of human malice, I knew shit was about to get wicked. Clotho puts that dark card in Sabi's hand, Sabi fails his wisdom save, and through the infernal command of AP, Sabi involuntarily puts that shit on.
What the?
But wait! There's more!
What the fuck? Damn.
Sabimaru is now
That's
a
tough.
black Kamen Rider, against his will, and everyone is shocked. Well, except Spanner, who powers until his Valvarod form and attempts to swap hands. But since you and I both know he's fodder, he's simply here to be Dread's warm-up and our preview for what's to come.
That boy's
As we just
good.
established, Valvarad is a waste of time, and Dread agrees with this as he winds up for a finisher and drops 2 meters of hate-filled pack watching that ass. The part that gets me is that for some reason, people are shocked by this, like they're surprised Spanner lost or something.
How's that, all right? What's the fucking matter with you? What is the fucking matter with you? What are you, stupid or what?
Anyway, it's Hotaro's turn, and since he's the actual Kamen Rider, he should stand a better chance.
No. His fit look weak. Sensational.
It's when Dread decides to air this bitch out and goes Blick Akimbo like he's Jack Landers, when the gang realizes that Dread is going turn for turn with Gachara like it's Yu-Gi-Oh! In fact, the combination of the sisters' repli cards combined with the fact that they chose the person who has the most knowledge on Kimmy's makes this a very dangerous combo. With one card alone, Dread is able to match Gachard in both his speed and strength-based forms, and even gets the jump on him with a paralyzing headlock.
Damn.
If you can't tell, things are bad, and when everybody starts getting their respective asses waxed,
Damn.
it becomes even more apparent.
It went from worse to worse, sir.
This apparent crisis just helps Gachard
How they gonna get
back
out of this
up
one?
and do his dang old best in base. But when he charges at Dread, the Black Rider has a plan.
Yeah, that's what I would have did.
Hotaro's desire to protect everyone is unfortunately halted when he sees Sabi's face under the mask, because hurting Dread still means hurting Sabi, I guess. And that's how I knew Hotaro and them really weren't good friends, because real friends always
Protect the
have a
whole group.
reason to hit one another. You know, let that would have been one of my friends, nigga. I would have been throwing straight haymakers. You better work your ass up, nigga. But Hotaro can't hear me though, so instead he gets uppercutted and then gets
Damn.
3 meters of pack watch dropped in his ass.
Hey, yo.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That was crazy.
That was crazy. Oh my god. Guard. Hit him with that guard.
For closure purposes,
Nostalgia,
we're
son.
taken to the intro clip, and when all hope is lost, the power of
Wow,
friendship
that's
and
how he
weapon
got
power
beat.
allows them to escape. But don't get it twisted. This is a capital, bold-capped L for the Alchemists.
Man,
Not only are they demoralized,
they got
but
beat.
even worse,
He got
only
beat
to
and they
defeat
took your
Dredd
homie.
is to subsequently put Sabi on a t-shirt. This suit's introduction by itself was one of the driving forces for me to originally lock in on Gachard, but I just couldn't do it, okay?
Gachard.
To give credit where credit is due, the use of Kamen Rider Dredd in this way is something I've coined as the Parasite Berserker. Rather than just using the Berserker state of
Parasite Berserker.
self-preservation, it turns an involuntary user into a violent rageaholic programmed to cause as much grief and pain as possible. Now, this is a very cool trope in my opinion, and when executed well, which we'll see later, it creates a fun two-layered scenario where the heroes have to fight a physical and mental battle. Sabi, being the quiet, non-violent iPad kid, was the perfect experimental user for this
Damn,
work.
they
Because
got
it
him,
makes
they
the pain
cooked.
he inflicts on his
They
friends,
cooked them.
albeit involuntarily, feel more painfully impactful, as he would never voluntarily do anything violent like this. Beating up Spanner was probably a hidden desire, to be honest, but as his body is being puppeted by an amazing-ass semi-sentient suit, he beats the shit out of Hotaro and attacks a lot of his friends, which has to be mentally rough on him. Not to mention the irony in all of this, as the UFO-X Kimmy had its power siphoned in order to complete the very device he was forced to
Wow.
equip. You know, because, he really wanted to
He
see
really
UFO
wanted it,
Kimmy,
yeah.
and if him and Hotaro would have found it first, it probably would have solidified the relationship faster. Nah, whatever. Unfortunately, this doesn't last long, and the power of friendship ultimately saves him in the next episode, and from then on, the suit passes hands for the rest of the series. And depending on who you are, this sudden fix could cheapen the shock factor of the previous debut. For me, the moment I heard Clotho say that the suit's power differs depending on the user, I knew all of its drone berserking was done. Dredd was mainly made to be the antithesis of Gachard, so putting weaker people in the suit just to make them crash out is fun to think about, but that's why we have plenty of Rider Kaijin who do that already. Speaking of, having someone crash out against their will does sound like another Rider we know and love, so this takes us right to our final exhibit. Mr. Heaton, we meet again. This exhibit takes us to the
Wait.
President Battle arc. Since Thouser's debut, he's been putting high quality belt to ass, and to add
Damn,
insult
that's
to
some
injury,
tough.
Shining Assault Hopper,
That one was pretty good too, though.
Arto's current strongest form, is now not strong
Damn.
enough to handle Thouser. Currently, Guy is up 2 in the competition, and we're currently in the 3rd round. A legal case with our favorite Q Ranger defending. Well, he's at least my favorite, because unlike most of y'all, he gave me $5. Anyway,
He gave me $5. Hold on, y'all.
the case in question favorite, because unlike most of y'all, he gave me $5.
Who is this? That's a video he made, I'm
He's
guessing?
at least my favorite, because unlike most of y'all, he gave me $5. Anyway, the case in question was originally set up to get our robo soldier to believe that the prosecuting attorney was setting them up to lose, but it turns out that it was actually the plan of a scamming ass police officer who wanted to put an innocent man behind bars for crimes he committed. Cause that doesn't happen in real life.
Right.
Though this revelation happens in the middle of the trial, the prosecuting attorney reveals his real nigga card and demands a retrial, and ultimately the young man is innocent. In the midst of this, Fua somehow drops the ball and lets the crooked cop escape with his progress key, and then goes all raider in order to escape. So Fua puts that shit on, and then some cop on cop action happens. Eventually, Guy shows up with a suitcase, followed by Autoto, who reveals that Guy is the person responsible for Arc knowing human evil, and the primary factor for every Human Gear related crash out in the show. That's prior to the series as well. And if you really think about it, this means that he's responsible for the entire direction the story goes in. The creation of Metsubo Jinrai, Arc's rampage, Izu's recycling, and Autoto's eventual crash out as Arc 1 can all be directly connected to this revelation. For Guy, he's all like, oh yeah, I did it. He made it and he ain't shit. Them niggas had it coming. And considering the times I'm living in at the time of this recording, I think Guy kinda has a point.
Wow.
Autoto, being a better person than me, is more angry about all the people who have been killed, maimed, and or traumatized by this act, and immediately calls ISO on the golden asshole once again. Now listen,
Man, that suit clean as fuck.
technically, when it comes to facing Thouser, my GOAT is 0-4. One of those losses was an actual fight, while the other 3 were just moments he couldn't stop Thouser from recycling a human gear. So when this one plays out, I assumed it'd play out just like the other 4 did. And I was half right, as this reveals that Autoto was getting his first real taste of malice, which was strong enough to both stun him and let Thouser pack him up with a level 2 finisher.
You can't keep getting away with it!
As Autoto was reeling from his 5th L, Guy pulls out a doohickey from his suitcase, and then shit starts to get wicked.
He put that shit on his belt. Oh shit.
I know that some people are seeing this for the first time and going, damn, this shit look
Evil!
For those uninitiated, said doohickey is the Metal Cluster Hopper Progrise key, a key designed to directly fuck with 01 by linking Autoto's mind with the Arc satellite rather than the good one he's normally attached to. Guy mentions that the main requirement is to have some malice in your heart in order to make it function, and Izu later explains that it apparently has a library of evil data within it, whatever the fuck that means. Now, I don't know how to properly quantify how much or quality of evil data contained within it, but if I had to give you an educated guess, I'd say it's like having the entirety of King Von's discography just injected into your brain, and the melodic tunes of Satan's Greatest Soldier involuntarily command you to crash out, resulting in the following.
Man, that's tough!
Now, I'll be the first to say, on the surface level, giving your op a new form seems like a bad idea. Yaiba must have heard me when I was watching this, because she even questions why this thing is being made, to the point where some of the later things to discuss still doesn't make sense. But we won't truly comprehend the reason until later. Spoilers though, Guy's just a hating ass nigga. But to move on, somehow Fua and the Crooked Cop's fight moves to this area, and the moment these two realize it, with one move, which feels like a stretch to say since he didn't move at all, Metal Cluster one-shots the Crooked Cop, while Fua barely escapes with some gauntlet damage. Thouser, impressed with his work, attempts to clash with MC, but none of the Golden Dickhead's attacks pass through the Silver Berserker's defenses.
What the hell?
It feels like the start of the Rock Lee versus Gara fight for real. Eventually, Thouser's caught with a command grab and is instantly bombarded with a barrage of silvery barbed attacks and is sent back flying. Thouser tries to use a metered special attack, but MC's defenses seem unstoppable, and in response, he counters with his own metered attack.
You done turned the wrong nigga up, bro. He done turned the wrong nigga up.
Damn! That shit good!
Fua ends up stopping the silent rampage, but now the cat's out of the bag. Whatever that form is, it ain't 01, and Autoto would later describe it as him separating from his body and watching his body go all oonga boonga on the world around him. To make matters even worse, the only Progrise key Autoto can use now is the Metal Cluster Hopper key, and no matter what he does, he can't control the hate and malice Arc releases. It may be swarming with power, but when you're not you when you transform, then we have a problem. And if you don't believe me, here's him doing more of it.
Later.
The next time Autoto has to begrudgingly put that shit on, it involves him and Blue Buster helping Yellow Buster get married. That's like the 4th superior Sentai member I've pointed out in this video. Jesus, I should probably do more Sentai videos.
Yes, you
To
should.
stay on track, he becomes Metal Cluster Hopper when some raider pops up and interrupts a round of matchmaking with Guy of all people. Yaiba's on scene to handle it for the most part, and Autoto's still hesitant on suiting up. And eventually he gives in and attempts to put that shit on to stop the violence. And it goes as well as you think it would. Autoto immediately loses to Ark's influence and the rampage of Metal Cluster begins again. This time it's against both Valkyrie and the Raider, and he starts with straight hands. He eventually rounds both of them up and starts spraying them with his metal locusts, looking to one-shot both of them, but Valkyrie manages to dodge enough of it and attempts to counter him with her lightning hornets.
Nice.
Let's see how that goes. If your response was also,
Well,
Damn.
that didn't work.
Yeah.
then we're birds of a feather. And this
Yeah,
failed
that didn't
plan
work.
only sets Metal Cluster's aggro on her. He starts
Damn.
getting into his Ike Turner bag. Vulcan shows up in the nick of time and manages to grab Metal
Hold on. Yeah, hold on. Alright, you back. Sorry.
Cluster's attention, and MC switches targets on that slasher movie timing. Look, watch. Shit, look at it. Perfect.
Oh shit! With the
Vulcan is
axe.
slightly better in handling Metal Cluster than Valkyrie, but remember, he isn't truly trying to put the pots and pans to Autoto, and he just wants him to not lose control. So with their combined efforts, they're able to power him down, while Guy revels about all of it in the back. More stuff happens involving the Busters and the Raider who showed up and got away in the last fight, who is revealed to be Japanese Jack Black, and he's upset that Yellow Buster is looking for a man that ain't him, and to make matters even worse, now she apparently wants to hump a robot. For a certain reason, Match, aka Blue Buster, forms a plan involving a mock wedding with Yellow Buster in order to dissuade her. To make sure it sticks, he says some of the wildest shit to her in church, then she naturally slaps him. In that split second, Ark takes a hold of Match and he crashes out and turns into a Magia. Jack Black shows up in his Raider form, and since Fuwa was busy interrogating Hirobi and Yaiba's currently dick riding Guy right now, Autoto sees no other choice
Come
than to
on,
put
bro. This
that
nigga
shit
just
on.
keep doing
While in
it.
Berserker mode, he slaps up both Raider and Magia with ease, and watch this shit.
Why they walk outside to watch the fight? Damn.
Before the Raider is MC's next victim, Bowser shows up and attempts to test his
Trying to get
Boomer
back.
strength
He's
again.
trying to get back.
So he starts the fight off and lands a smooth 3-piece on Metal Cluster.
he thought he was
Once he
getting
got
back.
yoked
Fuck
up in that
on,
command grab, I knew where this was going.
You tried to get back, nigga. Now get back.
Oh shit.
Here we go again.
Since most of Metal Cluster's attacks are both safe on block and armored, he goes straight for a 3-minute finish. Bowser prepped himself to buffer the damage from the attack, but this shit got splashed in.
What the fuck? He split?
I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
For real, they cooked. Ain't no way, boy.
Since Bowser's still up, he charges in for round 3, but then he gets blocked and countered once again. And when Metal Cluster pulled out the authorized blick, I knew combos were about to get even more devious. Metal Cluster drops another metered finish, but Bowser's able to absorb and counterattack with it. But
Right through your shit. Just give it up, gang.
to quote my best friend Baker, that's some Yujiro Hanma shit right there. This nigga just countered a counter. I would have took my belt off if that shit happened to me.
On Sabaki, Yujiro Hanma shit.
I don't even know why I made this. If I was Guy, I'd be like, why the fuck? This is nuts.
Yeah.
The fight ultimately ends with Bowser landing a max metered finish on Metal Cluster, officially stopping the rampage. But think about how long and how much it took to get to this point. Oh, and Match planned for all this stuff to happen. It was just like an emotional situation that would get Yellow Buster and Jack Black together. But we're not here for that. I just wanted to give you closure. Metal Cluster Hopper is not only a parasite berserker that predates Dread, it's also a strong reason to why I like that black suit. This version of the Parasite Berserker sees Arc puppeting Autoto's body like a Malice-powered Sims character. Since Zaya made the 0-1 system and uses a grasshopper theme as a representation of jumping towards the future, it makes sense that the inverse of this idea would be themed after locusts, a type of aggressive grasshoppers that are known to swarm and devastate crops and even cannibalize their own. The show doesn't use the word locust, but a single Google search will help you put all the pieces together. This theming is explored through Metal Cluster Hopper, as Guy created a way for Arc to not only corrupt Autoto in the 0-1 system, but also use it as a tool to spread its malice malware, if you will. The robotic grasshoppers that reach out and swarm everything in its sight physically mimic the swarm of malice that tries to consume Autoto while transformed. By this point in the series, Arc is responsible for at least 2 super forms thus far, and its influence was felt in both, but to a smaller degree. This form, however, is all gas, no brakes, and Metal Cluster Hopper has to catch a fade or a body when activated.
I'm leaving here with something.
Not only does it last an episode longer than Dread did, one of the best qualities of this form is that it really helps put the Heat-In crew on the ropes. Think about it. They're currently 1-2 in a contest that could take their company away. Their opponent not only shit talks them, but consistently shit on them when they squabble. And because of his meddling ass, they have a device that doesn't work with them, but against them?
Come on now, dog.
Yeah, that's tough.
Come on, man.
Hell of a
The
story.
silver lining, pun intended, is the irony in this form. The fact that it's made 1000% out of Guy's hubris, using it as a way to test his might, makes the Progress Hopper Get Back 1000% more impactful. He underestimates the good Zaya and the Human Gear do, and everyone jumps to the same goal of helping Autoto. That underestimation inadvertently gives our GOAT with the title of the most powerful writer in the series until Arc shows up. This also sets the seeds for Autoto's descent into Arc 1, as these interactions display Autoto's innate malice, albeit all of it originating from a righteous place. Him wanting to put the pots and pans on Guy for making Arc Japanese Skynet and causing a plethora of unnecessary death and destruction is honorable, but him getting all angry in the process only bred the connection to malice that would eventually lead him to crashing out on Hirobi. Damn, I guess Guy did have a point. But yeah, man, that's the video. I'm tired. I'm gonna go lay down now. Please like and subscribe. If you want to buy some toys, please do it through my affiliate link by checking out Hyperlinks Japan. When you buy toys on that website, that means you're supporting the channel. And part 3 is gonna need 1,200 likes, and I know you saw the Gav thing. I need 1,500 likes for a Gav video. Thank you for watching. Sometimes y'all make me sick, but y'all still cool, I guess. Give me $5.
Oh my god, this nigga's funny. Oh, he did start making the Super Sentai videos, I guess then. Oh, come on. I don't even think I watched this. This must have been on when I was asleep or something. Cause what? These go right here. Yeah. Alright, W video by Lambo. Fuck with Lambo. W video. But that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. It's your boy Mar, and appreciate you. Have a great one. Peace.